Have you ever stood right on the edge of something huge? Maybe a big presentation looming or a really crucial exam,
Oh, yeah.
and you feel that cold grip of fear, not just nerves, I mean, but real sort of paralyzing dread freezes you up.
Absolutely. We've all been there, I think.
Right. And it makes you wonder, how do you really beat it? Not just, shove it down, but actually get free from it.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah, today on the deep dive, we're really going deep into what fear is and, more importantly, how to tap into that incredible power we all have, our subconscious mind, to actually conquer it.
Hmm.
Our sources for this deep dive, they promise some specific, really actionable techniques and a deeper understanding, hopefully, that can shift your whole relationship with fear.
And the core idea that jumped out from the sources is pretty profound. Fear isn't some, external thing attacking you.
Right.
It's actually a thought happening in your mind.
Yeah.
Often it doesn't even line up with external reality. And the really powerful part, your subconscious mind is incredibly open to suggestion, which makes it potentially your best ally against those thoughts you create yourself.
So it's not an outside enemy, it's inside.
Exactly. And the material we looked at, it doesn't pull punches. It calls fear man's greatest enemy.
Wow. Strong words.
Yeah, and it links it directly to failure, even sickness, problems in relationships. I mean, think about the common fears it lists: the past, the future, getting old, insanity, death.
The big ones.
The big ones. They hold so many people back.
Okay, so if fear feels so incredibly real, sometimes overwhelming, what are the sources telling us about its actual nature? Is it this big external force or something else?
That's where it gets really interesting. The source gives this powerful reframe. Fear is a thought in your mind, and you are afraid of your own thoughts.
Afraid of her own thought?
Yeah, it's not some monster out there. Remember that story, the anecdote about the little boy, terrified of the boogeyman under his bed?
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that.
His terror was absolutely real to him. But the moment he looked and realized the boogeyman simply didn't exist.
It vanished.
Exactly. The thing he feared had no actual reality.
So the fight isn't really with something out there, but with our own kind of internal projections. That changes things, doesn't it?
It really does. It puts a lot more control back in our court than we might think.
So these fears, the sources call them sinister shadows. That's a great image.
It is, isn't it?
It implies they're not solid. The text says, most of your fears have no reality. They are merely a conglomeration of sinister shadows, and shadows have no reality.
Precisely. Often just figments we cook up ourselves. And that brings us right to, well, your most powerful tool for dealing with them.
Right, the subconscious mind. If fear is fundamentally a thought, how do we actually take it apart? This is where the subconscious comes in as this, hidden superpower.
Absolutely key. Your subconscious, deep down, it's just wired to accept suggestions. It's incredibly receptive.
Yeah.
Think of it like fertile ground, like a garden. When you quiet your busy conscious mind, you relax. Your thoughts, good or bad, they just seep down into that subconscious soil. Almost like osmosis, the text says. So if you plant positive thoughts, positive seeds, they naturally grow into, well, poise, calm, serenity. It's described as an almost automatic process, if you understand how it works.
So, practically speaking, what does that look like? It sounds like if we make a firm decision consciously and really affirm it positively,
Yes.
we can actually release the power of the subconscious.
Yeah.
It just responds to whatever our dominant thought is.
That's the idea. It flows directly from the nature of your thinking. It's a huge concept, really, our inner world directly shaping our outer experience.
Okay, let's get practical then. What are some of the actual pathways the sources suggest for overcoming fear? There's that quote from Emerson first, right? Do the thing you are afraid to do, and the death of fear is certain.
Yeah, powerful quote.
It sounds almost too straightforward, doesn't it? But apparently it worked for the author of our source material. Is there more to it, though? For times when just doing the thing feels impossible?
Well, the author definitely testifies to its power.
Yeah.
Describes feeling unutterable fear before an audience, but just walking out there doing it.
Yeah.
And the fear died.
Wow.
But yes, for times when that feels like too big a leap, the sources offer another great example. A student apparently panic-stricken at just the thought of speaking to 1,000 people.
Oof, I can imagine. Pure terror. So what did he do? What was his strategy?
He had this very specific routine. For several nights, he'd sit maybe 5 minutes and just repeat slowly, quietly, positively, I am going to master this fear. I am overcoming it now. I speak with poise and confidence. I am relaxed and at ease.
So consistent repetition, programming the subconscious.
Exactly. And according to the source, he totally overcame the fear that way.
That's a fantastic example. And it's not just public speaking, right? There was also the story about the young woman with stage fright. Good voice, but auditions were a disaster because of fear.
Yeah, her silent fear thought, as the text puts it. She had emotionalized it, really felt it, internalized it.
Made it real for herself.
Right. And so her subconscious basically manifested those fears right there in the audition room. Her solution was this powerful counter-suggestion.
What did that involve?
She'd relax her body, quiet her mind, and repeat maybe 5 to 10 times each session. I sing beautifully. I am poised, serene, confident, and calm.
Wow. How often?
3 times a day, plus once before sleep. And get this. Within a week, she apparently gave an outstanding audition.
Incredible. Her subconscious started reflecting the desired reality, not the feared one.
Precisely.
Okay, another one that hits home for a lot of people, especially students. Exam amnesia. You know the answers, but only after the exam ends. What's going on there?
The source attributes this directly to fear behind the temporary amnesia. There's an account of a brilliant medical student, knew his stuff inside out, but kept failing exams. Why? Because he'd spent days beforehand just worrying, thinking negative thoughts.
So his subconscious was essentially following orders, taking his fears as the request.
Seems like it. It saw to it that he failed, according to the text.
Yikes. So how did he break that cycle? How did he get access to what he knew?
He learned a key principle. His subconscious is like a perfect storehouse of memory. Everything he ever learned was in there.
Okay.
But the crucial part was being en rapport with it, basically getting into a state of relaxation, peace, confidence. That's when recall works.
So the fear was blocking access.
Exactly. So his technique, every night and morning, he'd vividly imagine his mother congratulating him on doing well. He even pictured holding an imaginary letter from her about his great results.
Mental rehearsal of success.
Yes. This vivid mental picture called forth a reciprocal response the subconscious delivered. He started passing exams easily, he imagined the end result, and his subconscious found the means.
This idea of mental practice keeps coming up. The sources even mention a master technique for pretty much any specific fear water, heights, closed spaces. Can you break that down?
Absolutely. Let's say you're afraid of swimming. The technique is sit still maybe 5-10 minutes, a few times a day, and vividly imagine you are swimming.
Just imagine it.
But really imagine it. Feel the cool water, the motion of your arms, your legs, make it feel real, vivid, and a joyous activity.
So you're experiencing it mentally first.
Precisely. And the core principle here is that what you are experiencing in your imagination will be developed in your subconscious mind. It then kind of compels you, pushes you to express that image physically.
Yeah.
Same for climbing mountains. You feel the reality of it all. Enjoy the scenery in your mind first.
It's like pre-paving the way for success, programming it in.
You got it. Pre-programming success.
I really like how concrete these techniques are. It's not just theory. And speaking of specific fears, that story about the executive who was terrified of elevators. That was something else, walking up 5 flights every day.
Yeah, quite the commitment. He overcame it using what the source calls blessing the elevator.
Blessing it. How does that work?
Every night and several times during the day, he'd repeat affirmations like, the elevator in our building is a wonderful idea. It operates in divine order. I ride in it in peace and joy.
Interesting. So focusing positive energy onto the thing he feared.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
He kept this up for about 10 days. On the 11th day, he just walked into the elevator and felt, in his words, completely free.
Wow. It's a neat twist on affirmation, sort of granting positive intent to the object itself.
It really is a wonderful example of redirecting that mental energy.
Now, this deep dive also makes a really important distinction, doesn't it, between 2 different types of fear.
Yes, very crucial. The sources explain we're only born with 2 innate fears, the fear of falling and the fear of sudden loud noises. These are described as a kind of alarm system from nature for self-preservation. That's normal fear. And it's actually good, like, instinctively jumping back from a speeding car. It keeps you alive.
Right, that makes sense. Protective fear. So what's the other kind? Abnormal fear.
Abnormal fear is what happens when man lets his imagination run riot.
Okay. Runaway imagination.
Exactly. Think of that example of the woman invited on a plane trip. Instead of looking forward to it, she starts collecting newspaper clippings of plane crashes, vividly picturing herself drowning.
Oh, that's dark.
It is. And the source warns that kind of abnormal fear, if she kept it up, could actually attract what she feared most.
That's a chilling thought, isn't it? The power of our own fear to potentially manifest things makes you want to change the channel in your head immediately.
Totally. And there was that other example, the New York businessman. Doing well, prosperous, but he constantly played this private mental motion picture of failure, bankruptcy, empty shelves.
Even though things were good.
Yeah, he just wouldn't stop this morbid imagery. Yeah. Slipped into depression and eventually actually went bankrupt. He fulfilled his own prophecy. The sources even quote Job. The thing I feared has come upon me.
Wow.
And it mentions people fearing terrible things happening to their kids or obsessing about diseases they read about, all that. Abnormal fear. Just unchecked imagination creating misery.
Okay, so if that's the problem, this destructive abnormal fear, what's the fix? We need some way to redirect that powerful imagination, right?
And the material offers a solution called the law of substitution. It's pretty elegant, actually.
The law of substitution, how does it work?
When you feel that abnormal fear, there's always something you desire instead.
Yeah.
Right? The opposite.
Okay, yeah. Like if you fear failure, you desire success.
Exactly. So the key is, place your attention on the thing immediately desired. Get totally absorbed and engrossed in your desire. Really feel it. Know that the subjective, your inner world, always overturns the objective, the outer circumstances.
So starve the fear, feed the desire.
Pretty much. It builds confidence, assurance, because you're aligning with this infinite power the source talks about, the subconscious, which it says cannot fail. Instead of dwelling on the negative, you immerse yourself fully in the positive outcome you want.
That feels like a really empowering shift in focus. Okay, let's pull together some of the final kind of transformative ideas from these sources, the key takeaways.
One great piece of advice is simply to look at your fears, hold them up to the light of reason, examine them rationally.
Makes sense. Don't let them lurk in the shadow.
Right, and maybe even more radically, learn to laugh at your fears. The source calls laughter the best medicine.
Laugh at them. That's interesting. Takes away their power, maybe?
That seems to be the idea. There's something incredibly freeing about finding humor in something that used to hold you captive.
Yeah, I can see that. It shifts the whole dynamic, and the sources really hammer home this point. Nothing can disturb you but your own thought. The suggestions, statements, or threats of other persons have no power. The power is within you. That puts the responsibility, but also the control, firmly back in our own hands, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Think about the story of the chaplain in World War II. Had to parachute into the jungle, terrifying situation.
Right.
But he didn't give in to the fear. He affirmed, infinite intelligence which guides the planets in their courses is now leading and guiding me out of this jungle.
Wow. In that situation.
Yeah. And his changed mental attitude, according to the source, saved him, led to a miraculous rescue. It shows the power of that inner compass, that inner alignment.
Incredible. And then there's the flip side, the cautionary tale. The general manager who basically dismissed himself.
Yeah, by constantly imagining failure for 3 years straight. His subconscious just picked up on those continuous negative fear suggestions.
And acted accordingly.
Exactly. He started making mistakes, performance dipped, and eventually he got fired. A really stark reminder of how powerful negative visualization can be.
It really underscores that our mental pictures matter a lot. But then, conversely, there's the story of the government official.
Oh yeah, the prominent official dealing with intense political attacks, abuse, even threats, yet he maintained this deep sense of inner peace and serenity.
How on earth did he manage that? What was his method for staying calm in that kind of storm?
His practice was simple but profound. He'd sit still, quiet his mind, realizing that all difficulties and fears are due to a turbulent mind.
So controlling the inner state regardless of the outer.
Precisely. Even when people told him about plots against him, he consciously refused to emotionalize the thought and accept it mentally. He held on to the knowing that no harm can come to me.
That takes discipline.
It does. But he found that still water, that inner peace, by refusing to let the external chaos dictate his internal state.
That's real resilience. And finally, there's this really beautiful idea that sort of ties it all together. Love casts out fear.
Yes. And the material defines love in a specific way here as an emotional attachment to the good things of life.
Okay. Not just romantic love.
No, more like a deep focus on and connection to the positive. So the answer to fear becomes your desire. If you fear failure, you give your attention, your love to success. Afraid of sickness. Dwell on, feel attached to, perfect health.
So love in this sense is actively focusing on and desiring the good.
Exactly. That's the love that casts out fear, because you're filling your mind with what you do want, leaving no room for what you don't.
And that final insight, connecting the psalm, I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears, to this internal power. That was fascinating.
Yeah, it interprets the Lord not as an external deity necessarily, but as an ancient word meaning law, the power of your subconscious mind.
So it frames this power not as something outside us, but as an inherent principle, like a law of nature operating within us.
Exactly, a universal principle just waiting for us to understand it and use it consciously.
Wow, what a journey into fear and the potential for liberation. It really seems to boil down to this. Fear is mostly a mental construct, right?
Largely, yes, generated by our own thoughts.
And our subconscious mind is this incredibly powerful tool we can use to overcome it. It just responds to our conscious suggestions, our mental pictures, and especially that shift from focusing on the fear to focusing on what we actually desire.
Absolutely. And it leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If our fears are often just these sinister shadows we create,
Yeah.
what other realities might we be accidentally creating with our habitual thoughts? And more excitingly, what amazing shift could happen if we started consciously directing our thoughts, not towards dread, but towards our highest hopes and desires?
That is definitely something to chew on long after this conversation ends. So maybe the challenge for everyone listening after this deep dive is just try one thing.
Yeah, one technique.
Maybe it's that mental practice for something you fear, or maybe just consistently swapping out a negative thought for its positive opposite. Just experiment. See what
See
happens.
for yourself how powerful that subconscious mind really is. Watch how your reality might just start to shift.